Hey YouTubers, thanks for finding my channel. I know you got billions and billions of YouTube videos to sort through, but somehow you found this one. If you're new to RVing, you just bought a trailer during the COVID event, which a lot of people are doing, or if you're a seasoned RV owner, there's just a couple things I like to cover. I get a lot of people ask me what works best for leveling the trailer when I go into a campsite, what works best for what hitch to use. I know I've been hooking up trailers since I was a kid in the 60s and the 70s. My dad's trailer, doing the equalizer hitches from Reese. My dad had an Oldsmobile Toronado 1967, one of the first front wheel drive cars. And I remember seeing on TV, Reese equalizer hitches did a commercial using a Toronado where they took the rear wheels off and put their hitch on and drove it across the country. So it was pretty cool. I've been hooking up trailers. I've been using different types of hitch methodology. I know there's the Reese hitch, the equalizer hitches with the bars. The Hensley, boy, I'm going to get some comments on this one, that contraption. There's so many contraptions out there, cams for pulling equalizer bars up and breaker bars and this and that. And I just see some of these people doing it. Anyway, I got an easy way that works even far better than probably what you're used to. So check that out in the video. Also, I have a leveling system that I use that it works just great instead of the Lego blocks. Stacking up Legos, backing a trailer up. Hey, I need another Lego. Put it on, pull it back up on again until your trailer's somewhat level. And then also changing a tire on the side of the road. You know, on a 2-lane road, 18-wheelers blowing by, and I'm underneath the trailer with a bottleneck jack lifting the bad wheel off to change the tire. So I have another way of doing it. It's so much easier, safer way of doing it. So anyway, let's get to it. On my last camping trip, a person had bought a brand new trailer, drove it 250 miles up the hill into the Colorado mountains, and they didn't have the safety latch latched on the front hitch ball. So I know you guys are veterans that are watching this, but if you're new, never leave without this latch down. It should click down in place, and then you should have a safety pin that goes in there, okay? And then when you disconnect, pull that up, and that has like a little lever that pinches the ball. So the idea is that when you hit a bump, the whole trailer doesn't come off your hitch ball. And if it does that, that's really bad news. People get hurt, flip the trailer, and that's why you have your safety chains, but you don't want to get to that point. Also on the front of the trailer too, you noticed I had all that space in there, and I put a steel box from a pickup truck. This is normally the one that would go on the bed of the truck. And inside I have all of my stuff that I really didn't have storage for. So I have my pads, I have blocks, I have my sewer connections, some extra tools, and then leveling units on the other side. And then behind it, sewer pipe didn't fit in the bumper that came with this. It has a 4-inch bumper, but the sewer pipe didn't fit. So I got a piece of PVC at Home Depot, strapped it in, and put a screw cap on it. So now my sewer hose goes up in there nice and neat. And I had a little bit more room up front here for another little one. So I got some fishing poles in there, and I keep the flags and stuff in there. So anyway, when all done, just put it out of the way. All right, so the next thing I'd like to cover is, and I'm not getting sponsored by Anderson Hitch. I don't get a dime for doing my YouTube videos, and appreciate all your support. And those of you who do the YouTubes, the amount of time you put into editing, and it's time consuming. So on the front of the trailer, I have an Anderson hitch. It's an equalizing hitch and sway control hitch. And I see a lot of people that have these big, massive balls, this knuckle with the rods coming out, like your Reese equalizer hitches with the rods. And they're out there with their kids and they're winching the chain up and making sure 3 links hang and all that stuff that I used to do. But the challenge is when you go to add one of those equalizer hitches on, you're adding more spring constant to the trailer and the tow vehicle. So when you hit a bump, man, it's just bounce, 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 bounce. And then I always notice too that when I have an 18-wheeler pulling up on the side of me, and again, you people that pulled RVs know this, the wheel cuts to the right and then you correct it to the left because it's hitting the tail end, that wind. So I put this on. This is chain dampening. And I'll show you here. Anyway, I have this chain system here that connects to the ball, and the ball actually rotates with the trailer. And I'll see if I could pause this video, and I'll show you one of their video clips. But instead of adding a spring, I'm adding dampening. So when I hit a bump, I have a dampener here. This is a urethane bushing like you'd use on a four-wheel drive truck that compresses. It's not that spring constant bouncing. And then in the hitch ball itself, there's actually brake lining that when the weight of the tongue comes onto the hitch ball, it actually compresses that and gives you sway control. And I kid you not, I have an F350. I try to intentionally cut the wheel to the right to make the back end sway. It stays solid. It's an amazing product, lightweight. You're not monkeying with those big bars. You're not carrying a 200-pound knuckle that the bars plug into. So anyway, enough with that. The other thing I like from Anderson is that they have the leveling pads. And some of you have seen these. I wish I would have invented this. I could have mocked this up out of a piece of wood. It had a patent on it. I heard the guy sold the patent for millions. But pretty much, in tandem wheels, you have two of these. You put them in front of the wheel or the back of the wheel. You pull the trailer up, and as the trailer goes, it lifts the trailer. And then when you're done, you simply put this block underneath to block the end of it. Really convenient rather than using the Legos. There's my Legos sitting right there on the shelf. I haven't used them in 6 years. No more monkeying with Legos to level my trailer. The other thing I like from Anderson, and again, I wish I would have invented this, is that if I have a flat tire on my tandem wheels back here, they have another type of wedge. It's bigger, and it could go underneath the good tire. And when you pull the trailer up onto it or back the trailer up onto just that individual wedge, it'll actually lift your tandem wheel that's flat up off the ground so you can change it. So no more getting underneath. I mean, I blew a tire going to Wyoming once to Mount Rushmore. Blew the tire. I couldn't even see a house in sight. And I'm on the side of the road, 18-wheelers blowing past me on a 2-lane road. And I'm underneath there with a bottle jack. And it's like, this is ridiculous. So anyway, I got that. So let me show you how that works. So the first thing you want to do is you have a flat tire. Say this one back here is the flat one. Break the lug nuts loose. And I was taught when I was a kid, an easy way to do that is just step on it. Use your length, your strength in your feet. And again, some of you people are watching this, it's like, yeah, I know that. But a lot of the people that aren't privy to doing this are going to know how to do it now from watching this video. So go around, break them loose. And then what you do is put this wedge under the good wheel. So say the good wheel is my front one, and I have a flat in the rear. So put this underneath, go get in the car, pull up, and it's like magic. It's going to lift the bad wheel up off the ground. Change it, torque everything down, back the trailer up off the wedge again, go backwards. And then when you get it on the ground, make sure you retorque your lug nuts again in reverse, right? So use your foot and bear down on them to get them tightened up again. So the other thing I carry is these tough pads. Um, and I have the stabilizer jacks on each corner of the RV. A lot of you guys have that. Fifth wheels have them too. And I like these RV pads. Put them underneath when you're on squishy ground, not on like concrete or pavement. And these give you a nice pad, and they're red, so you make sure not to forget them. I also carry a bunch of 2x8s that I've cut about the same size that I varnished, and I keep those up in my toolbox also. So I'll put a link in the description for all this stuff. Okay, let's talk about tires now. Probably one of the most important things that you have on your RV is your tires. And you want to make sure that the tires are fresh and newer. Um, I use Discount Tire here locally for all of my tire needs. And a lot of the tire shops will recommend once the tires are 6 years old, you really should replace them. And when they get to 10 years old, they are unsafe. Um, Even if you don't see dry rot or cracking or anything, keep it in a garage. You keep covers on them out in the storage lot, which is really a good thing to do. Keep the UV off of them. But regardless, you want to change these periodically and check the air pressure. Okay. So what I like doing is before every trip, I check the air pressure in the tires, make sure it's up there. So for you beginners also too, you look on the tire on the side, you'll see there in fine print the recommended tire pressure. In this case, these are 14-inch wheels, and they're at 50 pounds. So get your air compressor out, your gauge, and check them every time that you head out. So another thing that I do is every time I stop the camper, we're getting gas, we're pulling off the side of the road to have lunch, I do a safety check walk around. Before I get in the vehicle, I look at my chains, I look at the ball, I look at the latch, make sure the pin's in it on the hitch ball, make sure the steps are up, make sure the handles. I was at a campground the other day, and the guy drove off with his handle out. So anyway, that's dangerous. Check the tires, okay? Just look at the tires. You see this front one has a little bit of bulge in it. So I've got low air pressure there. It needs filled up. I'm actually going to change all the tires because these tires are 6 years old now. I had them on in 2014, so I've got them on order at Discount Tire to replace them. So that's going to be part of the process. But do a safety walk around. Look underneath, make sure there's nothing hanging down. Look up top of the camper, make sure there's nothing up there that's weird. If you have bicycles on the back, check your bicycles. Make sure they're tight. Make sure that the rack, if you have this on the hitch, is in good position. The other thing is make sure your stabilizer jacks are up. You know, you have the stabilizer jacks on all corners. In my case, they're electric, but a lot of the people have the crank up type. And I've seen people pulling out and the stabilizer jack, maybe one of them's still down. And boy, it really messes them up. And to go fix these things, it's quite the ordeal to probably have to get a new one or straighten the old one up. But anyway, for you people out there just bought your new RVs, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's needs repaired on these. And when I'm out and about, I see a lot of stuff. Last camp trip too, I had a person that couldn't get their slide in. I had to help them out with that, release the brakes, and then about four of us got on the slide with our shoulders and pushed it in. But anyway, there's stuff always breaking. You're like running a tornado down the street inside, things rattling, banging around. And yeah, you're going to have a lot of maintenance. So in addition to the tire pressure and the age of the tires, the one thing you're going to do is lubricate your wheel bearings. And that's critical. You figure these tires are so small and they're spinning so fast. And maybe you've been driving for 2 or 3 years and have done nothing to the wheel bearings. You really should take it into a professional. You could take it into a trailer shop and get on their list and wait for months and months. In some cases, usually stuff breaks or wears out. People wait until the summertime, high season, and these guys that do repairs in RV, like Camping World service centers, and there's a bunch of them around, you know, put you on a wait list because everybody's in line trying to get stuff done. So, but anyway, in the off season, take it to a professional if you want. And to do your wheel bearings and wheel seals, you're probably upwards of $300 or $400 to have that done. If you have some little bit of mechanical know-how and maybe some tools, I'll show you how to do it yourself. Save that money. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you got some good nuggets information out of the video that I just showed you. Again, years and years of doing this, a lot of money spent on different type things, and this is what I've really honed in on, and that's what I'm using. So, also another critical part of your RV, and to get serious a moment, is your wheel bearings. Folks are buying these RVs, or you may have one where you haven't serviced the wheel bearings, you haven't greased them, you haven't repacked them, you haven't changed the wheel seals out since you own the trailer. So look at my other video. I was going to combine this into this video, but it made it so long. So I broke off a separate video on wheel bearing and maintenance and what you should be doing. So you're not overheating the bearings, possibly seizing up a bearing, and being broken down on the side of the road. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe and hit the like button and ring the bell for any new videos coming out. If you like my video, check out my other playlists on solar, on hot rods, on car restorations, on e-bikes, on survival. I've got a number of different playlists that you might like. So anyway, have any comments, leave it in the comments section, and thanks for watching.